beats of battle sing to the clashing of steel, till all the mountains lie broken and bleeding from wounds that no magic can heal. Go, my child, to Skyrim.
Well, we're getting off to a later start than I might have hoped, but I really needed the rest. The last few days have been exhausting.
Get me mad, and I'll prank you. And not a little, a lot.
You know, I think I can handle a prank or two, kid. Anyway, I took the opportunity to sell some of the items that have been weighing us down. So we might be traveling a bit quicker, with less burdening the horses.
Everybody around here is so serious.
Yeah, well, the times are serious, kids. Well, we'd best be on our way. But first... I'm thinking I really need to work on my archery some more. I came this close to taking down that Thalmor wizard in one hit. If I work a little harder, maybe I'll be able to do that next time. Or at least slow down whoever it is I'm shooting at. Now, speaking of offloading these extra items, I'd like to stop off in Iverstead and drop off a few things at the house there. It means doubling back on this same trail that we've taken, seemed like 100 times. But at least we know the way. Well, that's most of the books and all of those helmets I've collected put away for now, so that should be less of a burden on the horses at least. Let's go and see how far we can get while we still have light.
Lead, brave one, and I will follow.
All right. You know, I wonder what I should do with those helmets. I suppose I could keep them as trophies, sort of a reminder to myself that I am capable of going up against at least a few of the Thalmor and surviving. On the other hand, I could just melt them down for the metal and make something better out of them. I don't know. For now, anyway, they're just gonna sit in the basement until I decide what to do with them. Oh, goody. We have a friend. Well, that was easily enough taken care of. Let's just leave it for now. We don't really need anything off of it, and we don't have much light left. Wait a second. I think those are more of those cultists. Yep, looks like it. Whoa. Ah. No, you don't! Hey! Oh, this is bad. I need potions. Hey! Ah! Where'd that other one go? There. 2 more. More potions. Come on.
I will purify the world. Mirax return.
Is that it? Okay, I think we're all right. And bears all the way on the other side of the river. This might get a little bit tricky. Oh, that's a strong current. Let's see if we can find a better place to cross. Just stay over on that side while I get Bera. Alright, girl. The fireworks are over. No, you should have stayed on the other side. Getting back across is not going to be easy. Not there. See if we can find a place where it's not as strong of a current. Oh, this might be the best we can get. Alright. Those cultists. They are very determined to make sure that I know I'm not the true Dragonborn. Well, if this Merak really is the real Dragonborn, maybe he wants to be the one to save the world. I'd gladly give him that job. I wonder if perhaps I made a mistake going along with Delphine's plan. Perhaps I should have just followed orders like a good soldier and taken the crown back to Ulfric the way I was told. But no, I thought that I had to prove my worth by bringing back something extra. And all I got were complications. On the other hand, if I hadn't gone along with Delphine's plan, there would be, what, 6 prisoners still left languishing in Thalmor captivity? Etienne, Thalmor, and the others we found. Maybe rescuing them was worth the trouble that it caused. And Esbern, even if his idea of the end of the world coming is absurd, and his idea of me stopping it even more absurd, if we hadn't found him first, perhaps the Thalmor would have, and he would be a captive too. He may have some strange ideas, but he certainly doesn't deserve that. I don't know. I need more information. And I think the only place I'm going to get that information is Windhelm. Not from Ulfric, but from another old friend of Mother's. Well, I'm glad we were able to bypass that fortress anyway. The last thing that I have the patience for right now is dealing with a swarm of bandits or necromancers or whatever else might be holed up there. We should probably think about settling down for the night, though. What is this, a mill? Maybe the owner here will let us camp. Probably safer than finding a spot out in the wilderness anyway. Excuse me, ma'am.
Here for work? Get an axe and bring me all the wood you can chop.
Firewood, huh? How about this? I chop you some firewood in the morning, and you let me camp for the night. Or, actually...
Yeah,
You have a house for workers here. Do you have any spare beds at the moment?
I used to have 5 good men who worked the mill with me. Then this war started and they all ran off. Idiots with meat in their blood.
Really? So the workers' house is just empty? Well, thank you. I'll make sure to bring you some firewood in the morning.
All right, then.
Come on, Anima. Let's go take a look at this house. Yeah, you can see how overgrown it is. Nobody's been living here for a while. So did her workers go off to join the Imperials or the Stormcloaks? And how much does that really matter? Looks like the place isn't empty after all. Hello?
Griffith told me not to talk to strangers.
Griffith, huh? I suppose that is a wise thing to tell you. It sounds like this Griffith is a smart man.
I think so too.
What are you two doing here? I thought this house was empty.
Griffith and I are playing hide and seek.
Are you? You know, it seems like you two are not quite clear on the rules of the game. I can't tell who's hiding and who's seeking.
Oh, we're both hiding. The monsters are seeking. You're not a monster, are you?
Monsters? What can you tell me about Griffith?
He's the nicest, bravest man I've ever met. One time he saved me from 3 monsters.
Really? Monsters again?
Yeah, they wear all black and red because their skin is creepy and gross. Griffith says they're playing hide and seek with us. But I want to play with someone new. The monsters play too rough.
How is it that Griffith fought off these monsters of yours?
Well, we were headed towards Windhelm when it was getting dark. We made a camp and prepared for bed. I got up to go to the bathroom. That's when the monsters came for me. They're sneaky monsters who like to come out of the dark. So when I saw them, I closed my eyes and screamed as loud as I could. I kept screaming until a hand closed my mouth shut. I was so scared. I thought the monsters got me.
I would be scared
But
too.
then I heard a whisper, and I knew I was safe because monsters can't talk. I opened my eyes, and it was Griffith.
Well, I don't know about monsters not being able to talk. Sometimes the real monsters are just people like you and me.
Why?
Well, I suppose because people can fall victim to desire, greed, anger, and other unhealthy emotions.
Why?
Because little girls can test a nice person's patience and make them angry.
Why?
Oh no, no, I am not falling for this again.
Why?
Let's just go back to what I was asking you before. Is there anything else that you can tell me about this Griffith?
Well, I know he doesn't sleep much. I think he has bad dreams or something. He also doesn't like to talk much. I only ever see him talk to me or the innkeepers, and even then he doesn't say much. I think he might be a little shy. Hey, why don't you try talking to him? You're really nice, so he might like talking to you. Yeah, go talk to him. I bet you two would make great friends.
You know, that might not be a bad idea. But one more question before I do that. I take it that Griffith is not your father? So where are your parents?
I don't don't have any parents. Francois at the orphanage said everyone has parents, but I'm not so sure. I've never met them anyway. But Grella the Kind once called me a worthless little Breton. So I guess they were Bretons.
Grella the Kind, huh? That woman. You know, that's a horrible thing for anyone to say to a child. You shouldn't believe or listen to anything that she's ever said to you.
Yeah, I was so happy when Griffith came for me. I didn't like it there, none of us did.
Well, thank you for chatting with me. I'm going to go talk to your friend over there.
Bye.
Another victim of Grella the Kind. I'm not sure that makes me feel any better about what happened. Sorry to...
Griffith, what does it mean when people wear amulets of Mara?
They wear it to tell people they want to get married.
Oh, so if I wear one, will you marry me?
Sorry, but I'm a little too old for you.
Oh. Will you at least come to my wedding?
I'd like that.
Interesting. Sorry to intrude.
You've got the wrong house, stranger. The mill owner lives on the other side of the road. I suggest you leave.
Actually, I spoke with the mill owner not long ago. She indicated that this house was empty. So what is it that you two are doing here?
That's none of your business.
Maybe not, but I was still hoping we could talk.
Sorry, but I'm not looking for company.
Listen, I don't really care. I just want to know who you are.
A stranger, just like you. Let's keep it that way.
And the girl?
I'm her guardian. Let's just leave it at that.
Yes, I've already met her. She told me her name's Morrigan. And she spoke well of you.
Did she? I told her not to talk to strangers. What did she tell you?
She said that there were people after you.
The girl's too trusting for her own good. What of it?
Look, I don't like it when children are put in danger. And this whole thing seems awfully suspicious to me. So I suggest that you might want to explain yourself, or I might see fit to call the guard.
Hold on. There's no need for that. It's not what you think. The girl is under my protection.
Is that so? Perhaps it's better if you just tell me the truth. Who is it that's after you?
The Dark Brotherhood. They're after us. Her and me.
Oh. Well, I've been hunted myself, so I know a little something of what that's like.
Then you know how it is. Always looking over your shoulder. Never getting a good night's sleep. Never knowing if it's the last time. The last time to see the sun. Or to taste a ripe apple. Or to get pinched by the girl. Everything has a finale to it. It all feels so tense. So grave. I'd probably lose myself. Fall into old habits if the kid weren't depending on me.
It sounds like they're going after you a lot harder than they've been going after me. So what about the girl? Why are you protecting her, serving as her guardian, if you have to run from the Dark Brotherhood?
I need a reason to protect a child.
Perhaps. After all, she isn't yours, and many people would say that she's not your responsibility.
For now she is. Has to be. She's got no one else. Now, eventually she'll come of age, and no longer be the girl she once was. And the only thing connecting her to her past will be me. That's when I'll say goodbye. Not a second before.
Well, you certainly seem devoted to this duty. But why is the Dark Brotherhood after you?
I killed one of their contracts.
One of their contracts? Wait, do you mean that you killed somebody that hired them, or that you killed somebody that they were hired to kill? There has to be more to it than that.
Yeah. The Dark Brotherhood aren't just hunting a killer. They're hunting one of their own. Me.
Well,
It's a
now,
long story. Not one I really care to tell.
perhaps you'd better. Does the girl know that her guardian is a killer, just like the ones who are after the both of you?
Alright. Leave her out of this. As I said, I was once an assassin for the Dark Brotherhood. One of the best they had. Only, murder wasn't enough for me. When a target is marked, a typical assassin kills without question or remorse. The murder is efficient. A transaction.
But not for you?
No different than going to the market. Only, I took things a little bit further. I had what you'd call a procedure. I didn't just stalk my targets. I approached them. I even befriended them. I needed to know the man I killed.
Needed to know. So it sounds like you needed to know that there was some kind of morality behind each kill?
Maybe. At least that's the way I see it now. Not so much before. The Dark Brotherhood doesn't take sides. When a hunter tracks game for the butcher, it's not his place to ask if the dude deserves it. Yet, for some reason in the back of my mind, I always assumed they did. Some were less guilty than others, but all were guilty of indifference.
Indifference?
Everyday people driven to murder, and the average target never gave two symptoms about what they did. Some even relished in it. This attitude, this unfeeling apathy that infects everyone around us, it needed to be purged.
I don't know about that. Sometimes it seems like apathy is just a way for people to protect themselves. So, when you found your victims, how did you kill them?
I gained their trust and offered them a drink. The mead was a paralysis poison. Then I bound them and interrogated them until I found it.
It?
It was a game. I asked them to name their killer. They always assumed I was talking about me.
But you weren't. But how does the girl fit into all of this?
One night we received word of a man performing the Black Sacrament in the Riften Radway. I was to arrange a meeting with him to get information on the target. The man told me of a story of a harlot who had taken everything from him. He wanted her to know the pain and anguish she caused him.
Was this Morgan's mother?
Another jilted lover, I thought. Another uncaring woman. My specialty. So I accepted the contract on behalf of the Brotherhood.
So you were going to kill this woman.
Tracking her down was easy. She was staying in some old bunkhouse near the Jarl's keep. She wasn't a harlot. She wasn't even a woman. She was just a girl.
Wait, Morrigan?
Inside her wasn't apathy. It was innocence. The child wasn't even old enough to understand love. At first I thought there was some kind of mistake. Only when I confronted the man, he confirmed her identity. The sick bastard was in love with a child.
That's not love.
And so that night, I killed not for apathy, but for passion, and took the child from Honor Hall.
Well, you may be a murderer, but I have to say I can't blame you for that one. And it sounds like it was what you wanted, all along, to kill with conscience.
Not entirely. True, killing criminals and those who deserve it, it was easy. But the easy thing is never satisfying. I do indeed loathe apathy. In some ways, I felt that was the greater crime. The kind made with a level head.
You know, the Dark Brotherhood is not what it once was, judging by the people they've been sending after me. Perhaps you have a chance to escape from them entirely.
It isn't just the Dark Brotherhood. The one who pursues me is Sithis. I broke a tenet, and in doing so, I betrayed him. Now every night, I am left to face his wrath.
Sithis. And does Morrigan know about all of this?
No. I've tried to keep her as far in the dark about it as I can. She's a smart girl, though. I think she's beginning to piece things together.
So, you're taking care of this girl. She looks up to you. Why not adopt her yourself?
I'll admit I have grown fond of her. Despite all this happened, she can still make me laugh. My time with her has made me rethink my purpose in life. Perhaps I wasn't meant to be a killer after all.
I don't think anyone
She
is
even
meant
has
to
the
be
same
that.
dark hair and pale skin like me. She'd pass as my real daughter. But what kind of father could I possibly be?
That is not a question that I can answer for you. But she does seem to idolize you.
I try not to read too much into it. Children get attached easily. Stay here long enough and she'll probably begin to idolize you. Take care.
Oh, one more question,
Griffith,
Griffith.
what
Yes?
does it mean when people wear amulets in Lara? Oh, so if I wear one, will you marry me?
All of this stemmed
Will you at
from
least come to my
being a
wedding?
member of the Dark Brotherhood. How did someone like you end up as part of them?
I was a young boy, living in an old cottage with my parents and older sister. She was about 5 years older than Morrigan, and promised to marry. It was the day of her wedding, when Lord Gabania's men came riding in the field.
Gabania.
I'll never forget the way their horses grunted and seethed, as if ready for war. Then the nobleman descended from his horse and made his demands. Some call it the right of first night, as if men of power needed to justify their rape with laws. No, they just took what they wanted.
Gods.
My mother pleaded for mercy. My father reached for his axe. When one of the guards gutted him, all anyone could do was weep. Two of Gabania's men were dragging my sister into the cottage when they passed me by. One of them turned and looked at me, and her eyes met. There wasn't a drop of emotion on that face. That's what I remember most from that night. Not the murder, or the rape, or the screams. It was the face of that guardsman. The face of apathy. That I couldn't forgive.
And people call Nords barbarians. What happened after that?
They razed the town. Gabania really just wanted the land and the peasants cleared. When his lot forced themselves on the women, it was just for fun. No, not forced. Toyed with them, defiled them, and murdered their spirit. When they killed them all, they just left me there to watch. I mourned them for days, but my mourning quickly turned to anger. I thirsted for revenge.
I can't blame you for that at all, considering what happened.
Yet I was just a boy. My anger alone would never be enough to kill a noble. I performed the Black Sacrament, but the Brotherhood never came. I knew then I was truly alone. And if I wanted vengeance, I had to do it myself. Gabania was out of my reach, but that guard, the one whose face was burned into my memory, that was a man I could kill. I pulled the sword from my own father's chest and watched him spill all over the ground. I kept that sword as a reminder. The blood had dried and crusted over the blade, but I never bothered to polish it.
So you had a sword, but I can't imagine that killing the guardsman could have been easy for a young boy.
No. Looking back, I was lucky I wasn't a grown man. My size and build forced me to cling to the shadows. A grown man would have used the sword that felled my father to seek some sort of poetic justice. The boy was forced to abandon that for a dagger.
I suppose that was wise, especially given what happened. So how did you manage it?
I started out by pretending I was a beggar, nagging the guards for coin and bread. Not that it required much acting. My hunger was real. I pestered Gabania's men one by one until I found that face. He didn't recognize me. Of course he didn't. I tracked him day and night, from the barracks to the brothels. It was outside the inn where he was most vulnerable, unloading his mead. That night I hid behind a stack of hay piles. The twin moons were out, and there was no mistaking that face. I crept up behind him as he was pissing on the wall, the sound of the stream masking my footsteps. Then I slid the dagger into his heart. And when he fell to the ground, I turned his face over and cut his mouth into a smile.
God. Do you think that your parents were proud of you for avenging them? Becoming a killer on their behalf?
Maybe they weren't proud, but I can't say they'd be disappointed. I know because it felt so good to do it. It wasn't until I heard that slow, condescending clap that I woke up from my trance. Then I looked up and saw Astrid.
Astrid. That is the name on the letters that I found carried by the Dark Brotherhood assassins. So she's the one who recruited you. Well, I think I should apologize for dragging the story out of you. I wanted to make sure of the safety of this little girl, but it can't have been easy to relive that for the sake of my curiosity. I think I'll just leave this house to you for the night, and my friend and I will camp outside. Who knows if the Dark Brotherhood come for either of us? We'll be an extra line of defense. Good luck looking after the girl.
Shadow hide you.
Sleep well, Morrigan. So is revenge worth it? I don't know, but he seems to think so anyway. Come on, let's set up camp out here. This looks like a decent spot. Anumla, why don't you go ahead and get some sleep? I think I'm going to eat a little bit of food and I'll take first watch.
Lead on, brave traveler. Lead on.
We'll head out again once it's morning. I feel like this new friend of ours gave me an awful lot to think about tonight.